Comrades, we must never succumb to pressure of America. America has never helped us with anything, even during apartheid. They cannot threaten us now with sanctions. Everywhere else America goes, you must know they never go to help those people. They go to destabilize those countries.
We must create a solid foundation for one Africa, because one Africa is a threat to Europe and America. Africa with one president, Africa with one currency, Africa with one military command, Africa with one parliament. It's a threat that America cannot stand.
Most of you who are young like me, we were born in this system. But this is not what can allow Burkina to live. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever, I tell you once. And there are some who are slaves in the head. They can only serve their master. And these people, each time they try to manipulate you, you must advise each other.
They did the same thing in Libya. They did the same thing in Iraq. They did the same thing in Afghanistan. Now they want to come to South Africa and destabilize it. We must unite against American imperialism and colonialism. We must not be intimidated by Elon Musk and everybody who stands with him. All those who are offered an opportunity to go to America because there is a genocide against them in South Africa, you are free to go. The borders are opened for racists to leave South Africa. We have no home for racists in South Africa. Our friends will never be United Kingdom. Our friends will never be France. Our friends will never be USA. They were never there for us during difficult times. It doesn't matter what Trump will do to us. We will die next to the Palestinian people. We will be buried next to the graves of the Palestinians. Comrades, our people are being killed in Sudan. Life is being lost. No one is saying anything because it's an African life. We must fight and always continue to raise the plight of the children and women of Sudan. We must no longer allow a situation where blacks kill other black people because they want riches of that country. Africans must unite everywhere and do not find it easy to kill one another during these difficult times. Our lives remain cheap. Our dignity remains undermined. And we are still disrespected by white supremacists that insist that white people must be comfortable at the expense of black people. And when white people are not comfortable, then black people must be punished with sanctions and isolation. We must ask the ruling government, why do we not tell those who seek to sanction us for fighting for our land that it was Nelson Mandela's dream that South Africa should be equal? Why do we not remind the international community that loves Nelson Mandela so much that Nelson Mandela did not stand for reconciliation only, but he believed that the land and the wealth of South Africa must be shared. And for this, he started an armed struggle because the white apartheid regime did not listen to a peaceful means. Why does this government not tell the USA that when white racists refused equality, Nelson Mandela said they must just be confronted with arms, and that today we are better because we are confronting racists with legislation and the constitution to expropriate land without compensation. The approach of this government, which seeks to plead with imperialism, is cowardice, and we must never allow it. The USA is not interested in diplomacy. The USA is interested in dominance over us by any means necessary. and we must stand up and fight for ourselves because we represent a historical mission. And that mission is the return.
Brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, it is time for Africa to unite, and it is time for black people around the globe to unite. Now, we've had people who have actually championed for a black unity. And when we say that we want Africa to unite and we want the diaspora to unite with Africa and the Caribbean, we simply mean that we are not going to leave this for one person. It was easy for them to assassinate or eliminate Martin Luther King because he was a single person championing for the rights of black Americans himself. And we say that this is the time for every black person around the world to realize that the division amongst ourselves is what has led to these miserable lives we have. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of this video. Thank you so much.
Expose the corrupt leadership, to expose the mining companies that milk Africa without leaving anything in Africa. The gold of Ghana must remain in Ghana and service the people of Ghana. The minerals of Ghana, the minerals of South Africa must service Africa. The EFF believes in one Africa where we've got one president. I know Kwame Nkrumah was accused of wanting to be a president of Africa. There was nothing wrong with that. The man qualified because he woke us up from the dead. We're continuing with Kwame Nkrumah's call. Even if we don't achieve it in our lifetime, imagine a currency of Africa against the currency of USA. Ours will be based on the natural and mineral resources of our continent. And what will the currency of France be based on? Because France can't even produce anything for its survival. The whole soccer team of France is Africa. That's why when France plays with Britain, we all unwittingly support France because we see the blackness of the team. That's how much important we are as Africa to this Europe, America, and all those who support neocolonialism. Ghanaians, the unity of this continent starts from here, because the self-determination of Africa started from here. When you got your first independence, we knew that day, that one day South Africa will be free. And when Frelimo won in Mozambique, we celebrated in South Africa as if that was our freedom. But we knew that the freedom of the people of Mozambique means the freedom of South Africa, because that's how we are connected. We celebrate each other's achievement. It started here in Ghana, it ended in South Africa. The unity of Africa must start here in Ghana, and we will capture it in South Africa because we always followed the leadership of the Ghanaian people. The economic freedom of Africa will start in South Africa. We want our land. We make no apology when we say we want our land. Our land was stolen, and we want it back without paying a cent. And no one must pay for a cent everywhere in Africa when they demand the expropriation of land without compensation. These people came and stole your car, and later on you discover your car. They say, it's true, it's your car, but pay us before you get this car back. And when you ask them why, you say, I must pay. They say, we've put mag wheels, we have improved the car, therefore you must pay us. irrespective of them being in possession of stolen property. Anyone in possession of stolen property is a criminal, and therefore anyone in possession of our land without our permission is a land thief, is a criminal, and must be identified as such.
Because each situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So you must advise each other and do not pay attention to certain words, even on certain media. Everyone is not obliged to be a patriot. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the country. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writing, you must close your ears and move forward.
Alors, il faut qu'on se rappelle quelque chose.
We must remember something. Recently, there was a so-called NGO. It is not even a NGO because a NGO is a non-governmental organization. But they are not non-governmental because they are financed by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports to say that the FDS and the VDP are carrying out executions. They came in and left here. It is to stain your morale. It is to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Besides, we will take this NGO into account because people must understand something.
Il faut que les gens comprennent quelque chose. Ce qui nous arrive ici.
What is happening to us here? It is true that they have manipulated a part of our population in the Sahel. But they did not have this armament. What led to this important armament? It is Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It is this NGO, the same NGO that made these false reports and gave to whoever wanted to create a rebellion for people to intervene and make Gaddafi fall. And the powder is spilled in the Sahel. These millions of lives that were taken in the Sahel, we must take into account this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports that it made to consolidate this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them defend human rights everywhere in the world before coming here. We have the chance to have similar situations in this world. You are engaged voluntarily. There are countries where we take force, we kill. You leave or you die. Others, even if they want to flee, end up dying. They do not speak of human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. It's like that in their heads. They have never changed their logic. But it is up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So there is no need to let yourself be overwhelmed by the story they tell, whoever wants to hear it. You have to stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the commander of BVDP told me that there is a training session on human rights for the benefit of group leaders and their subordinates, which is ongoing. If we make an effort, we know that it is for us. We do not do anything to please anyone. We do it for our country. And you are committed to that. Defend your country. Do not listen to these individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend themselves, a little bit everywhere. But there was a country that could not defend itself, that had to come and take our ancestors to go and defend them.
Et aujourd'hui, ce même pays veut nous donner des leçons.
And today, this same country wants to teach us the hospital that laughs at charity.
Non. Vous êtes les descendants
No,
de ces mêmes
you are the
ancêtres qui
descendants
sont allés
of these
défendre
same
les autres,
ancestors
qui
who
ont
went to
libéré
defend
le
the
monde du
others,
nazisme.
who freed the world from
Aujourd'hui,
Nazism.
vous vous battez pour vos terres. Ces mêmes
Today you fight for your
individus
lands. These
créer
same
des termes
individuals dare to
pour vous
create
salir.
terms to dirty you.
Nous nous opposons à cela. Nous ne serons
We
jamais
oppose
d'accord.
this. We will never agree.
Continuez à défendre vos terres. Ce sont vos richesses qui intéressent ces gens.
Continue to defend your lands. It is your wealth that interests these people. It is our
Sinon,
gold,
pourquoi
our
venir
minerals
chercher
that interest
des
them.
gentils pour s'accaparer de nos terres? Donc, nous allons combattre et nous allons
If
récupérer nos
not,
terres. Nos
why
richesses,
come and
ça
look
nous
for
appartient,
entire
c'est pour nous,
villages
c'est
to
à nous
take
que
our
ça va
lands?
profiter. Et à
So
nos
we will
enfants.
fight and we will recover our lands. Our
Je
wealth
vous
belongs to
encourage
us.
donc à garder
It is
en
to
mémoire
us that it will
que cette
benefit
guerre,
and to
c'est
our
pour nous
children.
sortir de l'esclavage.
So I encourage you to keep in
pour notre
mind that
indépendance.
this war is to get us out of
Et vous
slavery.
devez garder le
It is
moral.
for our
Restez
independence.
debout.
And you must keep your
Jamais
morale
céder
high. Stay up.
aux manipulateurs,
We will never give in
à
to
ces
the
individus qui ne
manipulators,
savent
to
que
these
cette notion de
individuals
patrie,
who no longer
ou à
know
ces
this
gens qui
notion
viennent
of
de
homeland,
l'extérieur
or to
pour
these
essayer
people
de
who
nous-
come from
de
the
nous
outside
dompter à travers
to try to
leurs
tame us through their
termes
terms
qu'ils
that
ont
they
inventés
invented
eux,
and their
leurs
organisms
organismes
that
qu'ils
they
ont
invented
inventés
to
pour nous
serve us.
asservir. Combattez, avancez.
Fight, move
Faites
forward.
tout ce que vous pouvez
Do
faire.
everything you
Puisez,
can.
comme j'ai dit, dans
Dive,
vos
as I said, into your
culturels,
cultural
dans ce
resources,
dans quoi vous avez
into
été
what you have
forgé
been
depuis
forging
le
since the
Puisez
village.
dedans.
Dive
Cette
into it
guerre.
and wage this war.
Restez concentrés.
Stay focused and stay up.
Vous êtes ces gens-là qui ont osé.
You are those people who dared to take up arms to support the different forces of defense and security,
Pour lutter.
to fight to recover our lands.
Ce n'est pas permis à tout le monde. Chacun à son
This does
niveau
not apply to
peut faire
everyone.
ce qu'il peut.
Everyone at his level can do what he can.
Sont dans le commerce et
Others are in business and contribute.
essaient de communiquer pour vous encourager.
Others try to communicate to encourage you.
Essaient, en tout cas, chacun de sa position.
Others
Faites
try
ce
to
qu'il
do what
peut.
they can.
Mais vous avez décidé de
But
prendre
you have
les armes
decided to take
et
up
faire
arms and
face.
face them.
On aime de dire, en temps de guerre, il y a deux types
We
de
like to say
citoyens.
that in times of war, there are two types of
Les
citizens.
porteurs de tenue,
Those who wear uniforms called FDS, who must go towards death. It is their duty.
et les civils qui doivent fuir.
And the civilians who must flee death because they are not trained for it.
Mais dans l'histoire des peuples, il arrive
But in the
toujours
history of
ces moments
peoples,
où vous vous retrouvez
there is
confronté.
always a moment when you find yourself confronted with your existence.
Soit vous vous battez ou vous disparaissez.
Either you fight or you
Aujourd'hui, le
disappear.
Burkina fait face à son destin.
Today, Burkina faces
C'est une
its
question
destiny.
d'existence.
It is a question of existence.
Et à ces moments cruciaux,
And at this
parmi ces
crucial
civils
moment,
qui devraient donner d'eau à la
among
mort,
those civilians
vous
who
avez
must give water to
décidé
death,
de prendre les armes et faire face. et
you have
accompagner
decided
les
to
frères
take up arms and face and support your brothers in arms.
Nous ne pouvons pas finir de vous rendre hommage.
We cannot
Nous ne pouvons
stop
pas
paying
finir de
tribute
vous
to you.
magnifier, nous ne pouvons pas finir de vous
We cannot
glorifier.
stop magnifying you. We cannot stop
Vous êtes
glorifying
des
you.
Burkinabés et c'est tout
You
ce
are
qu'on
from
vous demande.
Burkina Faso, and that is all we have
Vous avez
asked.
fait face à l'ennemi sans pour autant
You have
commettre
faced the enemy without
I feel sorry for the French people, is what Captain Ibrahim Traoré said, addressing his people and responding to what President Emmanuel Macron said about Africans. If you remember, we talked about how Emmanuel Macron told Africans that we're basically ungrateful. I think he said we forgot to say thank you. Oh yeah, that's what he said. We forgot to say thank you. But in due time, we will say thank you. As a reminder, I can show you that.
Nous avions une relation sécuritaire. Elle était de deux natures en vérité. Il y a une partie, c'était notre engagement contre le terrorisme depuis 2013. On avait raison. Je crois qu'on a oublié de nous dire merci. C'est pas grave, ça viendra avec le temps. L'ingratitude, je suis bien placé pour le savoir, c'est une maladie non transmissible à l'homme. Mais je le dis pour tous les gouvernants africains qui n'ont pas eu le courage vis-à-vis de leurs opinions publiques de le porter, aucun d'entre eux ne serait aujourd'hui avec un pays souverain si l'armée française ne s'était pas déployée dans cette région. Et j'ai une pensée émue pour nos soldats qui, parfois, ont donné leur vie et pendant des années se sont battus. Nous avons bien fait. On est parti parce qu'il y a eu des coups d'État. Parce qu'on était là à la demande d'États souverains qui avaient demandé à la France de venir. À partir du moment où il y a eu des coups d'État, où les gens ont dit « notre priorité, c'est plus la lutte contre le terrorisme, c'est ceci ou cela qu'importe », la France n'y avait plus sa place. Parce que nous ne sommes pas les supplétifs de putschistes. Donc on est parti.
Yeah, so that is what Emmanuel Macron said. So Captain Ibrahim Traoré was responding to that nonsense President Emmanuel Macron said about Africans. But he not only responded to what he said, he also added how sorry he feels for the French people. And he believes Macron is a necessary evil for Africa. Watch this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
Moi, je pleure le peuple français. Mais quand même, il est bien pour l'Afrique. Il est un mal nécessaire pour nous. Ceux qui veulent se réveiller, se réveillent. Ceux qui ne veulent pas se réveiller, comme on le dit, on ne peut pas réveiller quelqu'un qui ne dort pas. Les Africains doivent se réveiller. Nous devons travailler à être indépendants, à faire au moins ce que nos peuples connaissent le bonheur. Et la lutte contre l'impérialisme, c'est ça. Il faut décoloniser les mentalités, prendre en compte toutes ces données-là, parce que le monde nous donne tellement d'exemples à voir. Pour eux, il n'y a pas de morale. Ils peuvent vous désigner aujourd'hui terroriste, mais demain, vous êtes un héros. Par leur simple bouche, ils décident de ce qu'ils font. Ils parlent de démocratie, mais ils se font eux-mêmes des coups d'État.
He also added that it's actually President Macron that is ungrateful, and he should pray to the African ancestors while he's at it, because France is where it is right now because of Africa. And he didn't sugarcoat anything. He was straightforward and to the point, which a lot of people were happy to hear what he said, because at the end of the day, if President Macron wants to play these games, basically lying on Africans, calling us names, telling us we're ungrateful, you know, someone needs to tell him, someone needs to open his eyes to the truth and to the reality. And we should not just stand and accept this nonsense to be spewed. It's not true. It's just not true. So it's about time a leader calls it out, because, I mean, the truth.
Designed to control and dehumanize black people in their own land. This small book dictated where a black person could live, where they could work, and even when they could move. It was not just a piece of paper. It was a weapon of humiliation, a daily reminder that in the eyes of the white supremacist state, black people were not human beings, but subject to be controlled, to be policed, restricted, and punished at will. It was the tool that kept our people in township with no running water or electricity, while white suburbs flourished with stolen wealth. Today, white supremacists do not need a compass to undermine our human rights, because even after 30 years of democracy, Africans remain in poverty, living in shacks without water, electricity, or dignity. We are told to move on from the crimes of apartheid, yet the reality of apartheid remains the same, because a white life in this country is worth more than black life. The worth of a white life on South Africa means so much that when there is a death of a white person due to crime that affects us all, it is called a white genocide. Because whenever a white person dies, the whole world must pay attention. Fellow fighters, we must refuse the idea that a black life is so cheap that even our history of sacrifice and resistance can be changed to message, to conscience, to massage the conscience of our oppressors. Our people were massacred by apartheid regime today. The human rights of Africans have not changed ever since those Africans were killed here in Sharpeville in 1960. Our lives remain cheap, our dignity remains undermined, and we are still disrespected by white supremacists that insist that white people must be comfortable at the expense of black people. And when white people are not comfortable, then black people must be punished with sanctions and isolation. We must ask the ruling government, why do we not tell those who seek to sanction us for fighting for our land that it was Nelson Mandela's dream that South Africa should be equal? Why do we not remind international community that loves Nelson Mandela so much that Nelson Mandela did not stand for reconciliation only, but he believed that the land and the wealth of South Africa must be shared. And for this, he started an armed struggle because the white apartheid regime did not listen to a peaceful means. Why does this government not tell the USA that when white racists refused equality, Nelson Mandela said they must just be confronted with arms, and that today we are better because we are confronting racists with legislation and the constitution to expropriate land without compensation. The approach of this government, which seeks to plead with imperialism, is cowardice, and we must never allow it. The USA is not interested in diplomacy. The USA is interested in dominance over us by any means necessary. And we must stand up and fight for ourselves because we represent a historical mission. And that mission is the return of the land. Whether Donald Trump's like it or not, we are going to fight for the return of the land in South Africa. Comrades, we
have always said that Africa needs a renaissance, that we, people in the motherland, and everyone from the black continent needs to understand how things have been working for the longest time. Now, things in the motherland have been quite chaotic, and Africa has been looted to its knees. Now, you can come and see whatever has happened to Africa, from the southern part of Africa to the northern part of Africa, to the eastern and to the western side. You can see how much Africa has been colonized and looted at the same time. Now, they came to Africa, they used religion in Africa, and they were successful because it was easy to spread hatred and to cause division amongst black people. Now, this has gone for a long time, the same tactics. We say that it is only the trees that changes, but the monkeys remain the same. And when we say that we want a change in Africa, when we say that Africa really needs a renaissance, that we black folks needs to understand how things have been working for the longest time and how we need to change around how African continent has been treated, then it all starts with you who is watching this video. It all starts with everyone who really understands whatever is happening. And if we leave this continent to the hands of the few greedy people, if we leave the Caribbean to the hands of the few greedy people, if we leave ourselves to be controlled by others, then we are messing up big time. We need to take on and start deciding the fate of our lives. Our lives have always been decided by the Western countries. How we dress, whatever we should take, who we should trade with, and who we should talk with or associate with. You get it? What languages should we study or should we use as our national languages? Now, I have noticed something that in most Western countries that speak French, there have always been a problem with security. And you might be asking yourself, whatever has been happening to these francophones and all these other countries and anglophones. So we need to get out of this mess. Maybe it is not us who are living now who got ourselves to this mess, but we really need to see how we can work things around and get out. There is so much that is happening, brothers and sisters. There is so much. Believe me not, black folks, black people have seen enough. And when Ibrahim Traoré and other people are saying enough is enough in the motherland, that's why they have so much hatred. That's why they are not at peace, because Africa is going to unite, and black folks are at the helm of the wheel, and they are saying that this is the time. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and the great Martin Luther King started the movement. But in one way or the other, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were eliminated just because of speaking the truth. So many people have tried to unite black folks. So many people have tried to unite Africa. But at the end of the game, they were eliminated. So we say it is not going to be we are not going to leave this for one person because it is easy for them to target these people. So if we, the black folks, the 1.5 billion black people, can come together and say, you know what, we are going to do this. We are going to unite ourselves and we are going to speak and make Africa great. Now, I want to give you an example of whatever is happening. Now, you know the Chinese people. And let me just specify with the Chinese people now. The Chinese people had been colonized and they were not having the freedom. And there is a time when they got to be united. And they really saw the unity of, the importance of the unity they had. And the division that they had for a long time had caused them. And this is why China was far behind in development and in economic spaces. Now, the Chinese people came together in their large numbers. They united. And you all know the rest is history. Now, you can go to China and see it is the biggest economy in the world right now. However much you're being told that the US is the biggest economy, the Chinese people have the biggest economy. They control almost everything in the world. From electronics and all these electronic gadgets and all those stuff. Now, there is need for us to understand the importance of unity. If all black folks could come together and unite and have their own way of doing things. If you go to the Chinese people, they do not have YouTube. They have an alternative app for YouTube. They do not link their findings or their research to the outside world. They share it amongst their population. They share their development amongst their population. And this is why you see China is so great. They created TikTok and they are not using TikTok because they have another version of TikTok where they talk about important things. You go, they have another type of app that looks similar to YouTube but is not YouTube. And when you go there, people are sharing videos on how they're making improvements, on how they're discovering things and all this other stuff. While they create other apps, maybe for you to relax and watch videos and laugh and waste your life. So there is need for us to sit down and see whenever we want our continent to be, to see whenever we want ourselves to be. If we want the development of Africa, if we want the development of black people, then it must start with you. It must start with me. It must start with that person who is so I don't care. So when we say that we want to make Africa great, it won't all be great when it is up to one person or two people to do it. It is going to be great when you people take steps, when you people decide that you are going to do this and you are not going to keep quiet and you are not going to be in your comfort zone thinking that some other people are saving your continent for you. No, this is the time. It was easy for them to eliminate Malcolm X because it was one person. It was easy for them to eliminate Martin Luther King because he was one person. It is not going easy to eliminate all black folks. If we all stand and speak the truth, and if we all stand and try and change the narrative of our own generations, black folks were indeed taken to slavery 400 years back. It is absolutely 4 centuries. and reparations have never been paid. They have never taken our brothers and sisters serious. And you know why? It is because, and the answer is simple, it is because we are not united. We live in so much division, in that the people in Africa themselves, neighboring countries in Africa themselves, have to do their transactions using a dollar. Now, if you go to Nigeria from Ghana, or if the government of Ghana wants to purchase anything from Nigeria, then they will have to exchange using the dollar. Why can't we have a one currency in Africa which will unite the whole of Africa, which will unite and bring all countries together, that it will be so easy for us to transact businesses in Africa? We don't have to go and we won't be living in a world where we worry about the foreign exchange in our banks, that we are going to live in Africa, and Africa is united using a currency that is going actually to beat the dollar and make Africa great. This is the only way we are going to make it. We need a one government. We need a one military base in Africa. Not base, but we will need a one military force in Africa. And that is whatever is going to liberate us. If that's not the case, we still are going to see a lot of divisions among ourselves, a lot of divisions in Africa, and a lot of divisions amongst black folks. So this is just a wake-up call for you who is watching this video, and for every other person who thinks that Africa needs to unite. Thank you so much, and have a really good time.